Apothecary Diaries, Episode 4. Yeah, what's wrong with you? The Emperor's not going to be happy about this. You're out. You made a small mistake. Episode 4, The Threat. How did it all go so wrong? Oh, it's Lady Lihua. I guess the servants matched the lady. Wait, you got some explaining to do, Maomao. Why are you serving Lady Lihua? Lady Fukuoka would never treat you this way. Our introduction to Lady Lihua so far hasn't exactly been the best, the most flattering light, though there's plenty of room for surprise there. I imagine there's got to be something to almost all of these top concubines, because you don't make it that close to the Emperor on just looks alone, most likely. But she definitely seems very competitive, easily threatened. And in that sense, maybe the real threat is Maomao. You better treat Maomao nicely. Oh my god, it's happening already in episode 4? There he is, there's his face. I thought this would be a slow, gradual thing.
それはつまり直せと同義だ。帝の言葉は天上の言葉。断ったりしたら首が飛びかねない。
Yeah, there's no rule of law here. Or like there is, but that's all secondary to the Emperor's word. There's no safety net. It's all just his whims. You go far enough down, it's the Emperor. Or just enough people who are powerful enough to defeat the Emperor and those loyal to him. That's not exactly a plan.
他の妃の前で言う話でもないのに。
Oh, he doesn't care.
帝はやはりつくづく。帝。
He has no stakes in any of this.
リファ様の次女にとっちゃ。 玉葉様に仕えている私のことがよっぽど気に入らないんだろうな。
The threat.
掃除が終わったらさっさと出て行ってちょうだい。
I think we got very lucky in our assignment. It just looks better and better.
リファ様の具合まだ良くならないんだね。
おしろいのどこ。
Alright, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's probably the Rhododendron still. It's just a solid first guess.
帝から頼まれ事をされるなんてマオマオってすごいよね。
Remember when Maomao was going to keep a low profile?
こんな小娘に頼むなんて。 よっぽど高級医官が頼りないんだろう。
That's the cost, right? Speaking of stakes, he can't trust anyone. The incentives are just too crazily aligned.
よし。
I'm just speculating, but I do think it's interesting that, at least from my perspective, it seems like monarchy and kings and emperors and just, you know, a solitary, powerful ruler was this stage that emerged in human evolution that was just super dominant for a while there. And then gradually it wasn't. And there are some token explanations you can give to that, right? Like humanity's consciousness evolved. But I think probably for it to have happened at that severity and at that scale, it seems more likely that it has to do with the fundamental properties of the thing itself and how viable it is, how advantageous it is. I mean, I think the advantages are somewhat clear, right? You eliminate the problem of too many cooks. You have all these resources united and ready to work for this one concrete person and his thought process. Maybe the best possible structure for a society is having a large group of people fully united and dedicated to a really wise king. And I think that's partly why even in non-monarchies, we sort of have a monarchy instinct where we're always looking for some figurehead, probably as a direct result of that having been such a great benefit to our ancestors, which created that feedback into evolution. Our ancestors are probably those who survived because they lived in a kingdom that was that united and that powerful, and therefore their influence was able to spread that powerfully across the world. So then the question is like, well, why didn't that stick? Why was that not the final point of evolution? And just taking a guess at it, I think it has to do with something like just a fundamental, somewhat axiomatic trade-off of like all-powerful central decider versus multi-node consensus, which I sort of alluded to earlier, right? Like the benefits of the all-powerful thing are just clear, unified thought. Negatives are the whole society lives and dies by the decisions of that one person, and people are fallible. It's sort of the hive mind thing in science fiction. You kill the queen and all the little insects die. That's a pretty major failure point. On the other side, the multi-node system is much more resilient and anti-fragile. There are checks and balances on each other. As long as that group hasn't crossed the tipping point in passing their power to some central point, there's no one person that can bring down the whole group. The weaknesses, of course, are like indecisiveness, infighting, lack of common vision, wasting a lot of energy fighting to try to get to the top of this pyramid, and like assuming that the way things emerge is largely a result of just incentives and does to at least some large degree follow evolutionary processes. It seems like an implicit choice has been made that more advantageous than a shot at the best possible system with the perfect wise king is avoiding the worst catastrophe, which would be an entire civilization melting down because of one solitary point of failure. Maybe it turns out that if there is a single largest point of failure, it is basically inevitable that it will fail. It's not if, it's when or who, which doesn't mean there isn't a danger on the other side. If a society gets too fragmented, it probably collapses also, which is maybe what explains this sort of weird interplay in dialectic where we want democracy, we want everyone to be their own unit, but we love love hearing about kings and queens. We talk about like freedom and rights and power to the people, but then there's some like weird worship for the president. And people will hate one president and worship the next president and not see the issue there, not see the irony. I mean, I think it's too complicated to fully understand. I wonder though, what's the next stage of evolution for human society? There are just clear emergent problems with democracy, I think. But it seems like societal evolution has chosen a more fragmented democracy and more fragmented powers. So what's the next iteration? What solves the problems of this stage?
リファ様を見るにあたり始めたのが食生活の改善だった。
Taking her assignment very seriously.
体に残った毒を排出する。
And you know, I get the sense it's not just because it's a command from the Emperor. I think she actually just wants to do this because she knows how to do it and she has some good instincts for people. Genuine spirit of something good.
ここは下船の者が出入りするような場所じゃないのよ。
Okay, I'm gonna tell the Emperor on you, and then it's off with your head. See how you like that.
まずは消化のしやすいものを食べさせて。
そんな貧しいものよりも、まず病人には
I think maybe I can think of one factor that's keeping you sick. Multiple factors based on this.
誰も止めないのか。
I don't know if they have her best interests at heart. In fact, I'm pretty confident they don't. Well, first of all, she should sit up. This is a mess. This is a horrible mess. Maomao, you gotta get in there. I mean, I don't know. They could have a range of possible motivations, but I happen to have had a rather extended, up-close and personal look at the life of someone in the very top of society and what that looks like in the periphery. Speaking of incentives, it just has a way of bringing out the leeches, which doesn't mean everyone is a leech, and it doesn't mean every aspect of their lives and all their interactions are foul play or manipulative or whatever, but there's just an undercurrent there that's hard to fully diffuse. I think incentives are things that you can ignore when they're not really relevant, but when they're powerful enough and when there are enough people involved, that's when you start to be sort of at the whim of what the structure of the thing is rather than any one individual's thought of what's right or what should be or what you'd like it to be, what it would be ideally. You know, you put like 100 people around a billionaire and the thought of some way, somehow getting to touch a piece of that billion has a gravity, and anything orbiting that's not really nailed down is going to get pulled into that mass. It's sometimes hard for that person to see though, because what that will look like is care. It looks like concern, because if the goal is to get close, the strategy is to make yourself endearing. One of the key ways you can notice this being in that periphery is that it's competitive. Competitive goodness means there's an angle. There's a bar you're trying to fill up for a reward. If it's true goodness, it's goodness for its own sake because it feels like the right thing to do. So maybe they love her. I don't know enough about Lady Li Hua yet, but just like the way this hits me at first is that they're not so much attached to her health. They're attached to like doing what they think Lady Li Hua will smile upon, which is not the same thing as love. I've seen this. I've seen people tell lies because they think that's what the person wants to hear and they want to get like 5 brownie points, you know? That's not caring about the person though. So yeah, this is not help. This is not concern. Outsiders also ruin the game. Well, maybe don't write a letter. It doesn't seem to work on Lady Li Hua. She doesn't understand the joys of the written word. She's really evaluating Maomao this whole time.
あのままだと衰弱死は確実だ。食事をしないと人は死ぬ。我が子を失ってから生きる気力をなくしているんだろう。
Well, she's not even eating. It's not even about the food.
首と胴がさよならするまで何日あることやら。
Yeah, your life is at stake. Everyone's life is at stake all the time.
そのように見えますか。
I'll take the beheading rather than being your debt. No thanks. Whatever you want, no. Goodbye. Stop getting so close to my face. I hate this. I don't like people getting too close to my face. Don't touch my face. Don't get close to my face. Just keep your distance.
女ってのは恐ろしいな。
I mean, it's a human thing. How good is Maomao at like psychological healing?
食べようとする意志はある。
Okay, that's good.
だが思った以上に衰弱が激しい。重湯に帰ればいけるか。
She's still using the rhododendron? No way. No way. She's still using the rhododendron. You're out of your mind. It is still the rhododendron? She can't let it go. She just wants to be that shade of deathly white. What are you gonna do? Hit her? You're gonna hit him. Hit her. Okay. Just hold him back right now. I'm about to let loose. I doubt that greatly. Oh, she just laid her out. Whoa. That was big. That was big. But I mean, yeah, this is like slow murder, what you're doing. Oh, and now Maomao is slow murdering right in the lungs.
これでお前も綺
You'll
麗
be
になる
real
ぞ
white on the inside.
期待するリファ様と同じだ
I guess Maomao immune to all poison, so.
分かってんのか
This is also sort of on Lady Lihua for not paying attention to this.
リファ様が喜ぶ
Yeah, this is sick. This is not
毒だっつって
care,
んだろ
right? There's something else, some other incentive here.
誰が自分のガキ殺し
I
た
love everyone just watching this whole
喜ぶんだ
thing.
よ
Like, this abuse has gone on a long time. She's like, I'm enjoying this immensely. I'm having fun learning about Maomao's character. You should be deeply ashamed.
顔も洗ってこいおいこのままだと病人に触るだろこの床もさっさと掃除しろ
Well, that dynamic flipped real fast, and all it took was a massive slap across the face. That'll sort things out. Speaking of power hierarchies, let's see how pretty you look with this tattoo of my right hand across your face.
女とは本当に恐ろしいな
Totally different context. That was scary, though. That was ferocious.
しまった
You took a risk, but I think the incentives were aligned correctly, so it will pay off. Speaking of playing games, like, if we're actually just strategizing, this is not always easy to do, but like, one way to assure your safety and success is just to be in the good graces of the person who is at the highest position. So, you know, there's risk of pissing off Lady Lihua, there's risk of pissing off Jinchi, but that all becomes irrelevant immediately if the Emperor takes exception to her. She just can't help herself but shoot up this ladder. I imagine that'll be how it falls, right? He asked Mama to do something, and she did it when no one else could, especially not that quack doctor.
ことあるごとに茶を飲ませた商用の回数を増やし
Yeah,
体
hydration
の毒
is
を排
important.
出させる
That's my doctor prognosis for the day. Drink a lot of water. Your body needs water. Don't forget to stay hydrated, everyone. Learn that in medical school. And for the love of God, don't use rhododendron.
リファ様が嫌がっておられる
I'm sure you'll be a pain if you keep talking. Keep interrupting me from my work.
それも演技できるようになると知る者
Okay, yeah,
と殺した果
we're
物を加え
past the worst of it, right? This is very positive.
おしろいはリファ様のために隠し置いていたものだったらしい回収し損ねた宦官はムチ打ちの刑になったそう
And
だ
it's had a lot of rippling consequences. It's amazing what competency in something will do for you.
ええ
That's the
誰かと
lesson,
違って
or one of the
忙しい
lessons in just so many things. Just be really good at something.
さすが気が利くこういう豆なのがいい旦那になるんだろう
Oh,
ガンガンだけど
we don't really know how it works, do we?
何か困ったこ
Speaking
と
of
は
scheming, not from you.
なんだ何でも言ってみろ
Okay, what I need from you is to stop getting so close. Stop touching my face.
急いで完成させてくれ
Oh, maybe we're building her an office.
蒸気風呂ですか。
汗を
Oh.
かかせるのが大事らしい
Oh, wow, we're getting a luxury building built for us. That's amazing.
使えるものは何でも
It's
使
a
わない
huge indulgence. She's becoming like a little empress. Here's a fanfic ending in the show. It's Maomao and the emperor in a room. Maomao goes to the emperor and says, "Look at me. Look at me. I am the emperor now." And the emperor is so shook, he just immediately trips, rendering him invalid as a concubine. And then Maomao sends him to the back palace. Roll credits.
どうしてあのまま
Why did you take my rhododendron? I need it.
そうか
It's not just the loss of her son, which is devastating enough, but also the acknowledgement that she played a hand in it, that it was her fault. Remember that time we were talking about not getting attention? Oh, it's for Lady Lihua. I thought it was for Maomao. Oh no. I was like, Maomao just taking the liberty of making herself her own steam bath. They're also spending some pretty deep personal time together. This probably ends in a friendship, you imagine, right? She's wearing herself out.
少し水をもらえないだろうか
Don't forget to stay hydrated. Okay, that was nice. So give her some normalcy. That's sometimes the best forgiveness.
2ヶ月ほど過ぎるとリファ様は一人で散歩できるまでになっていた
She was really on the edge then. It took 2 months just to get back on her
自
feet.
尊心はあるが傲慢ではない東宮のあれこれで嫌なお嬢様を想像していたのだが
Yeah, she didn't give up the best first impression.
実際は妃にふさわしい人格を持っていた
That's what I was saying. You'd imagine there's got to be something there. It can't just be her looks. She has to have something exceptional. This is random, but like another world that I've spent some time in is like the escort world, which is sort of a modern, I guess, iteration of this. Maomao herself made this comparison. And it seems like there's still a lot of overlap. It's just like they don't serve the king, they serve money. But there is sort of a service contract, which is really just age and time. Often the plan is to accumulate as much money as possible, as quickly quickly as possible because youth carries a premium. And also that one of the best ways to do this, and sort of the implicit goal of a lot of people in that line of work, in the whole like karaoke escort circuit as it exists in certain countries in Asia, is not to like continuously work, but to find a very wealthy sponsor who will sort of pay for exclusivity and take them off the market and provide for them. I say all this to say, relevant to Lady Li Hua's character analysis, one thing that was surprising to me about this world, you would imagine that the most important element of this would be beauty, but in my experience, it's less important than other things for that highest level of success. Or maybe that doesn't exactly speak to what's common or the average. It's just that I've met some pretty striking outliers who, like, I don't think anyone really would consider unbelievably magically beautiful, or in many cases even that young. One of the girls I was acquainted with who was the best at it was in her mid-40s, and so many people were just like throwing their wealth at her. So it's something else. There's some other ability, some other sort of instinct or interaction skill or image crafting or something. Beauty probably will get you picked in that like normal rotation, but if someone can buy beauty or just has free access to beauty in such abundance that they can disqualify someone for tripping, it's gonna be something else that's rarer that really captures their heart. You gotta take care of yourself too, Maomao. Get that steam bath that I thought was for you. Go away. Oh, thank God. Wait, can't tell. It's a very feminine hand. Oh, okay, thank God. Thought it was Jinchi. That's sweet.
明日の早朝に辞させてい
You
た
are
だきます
always welcome here.
そう
I bet you'll find reasons to call for Maomao.
もう子はなせないのかしら。
We're looking ahead.
帝の寵愛はついえたのに。
私は帝の命でここに来ました
Yeah, this is very good news. You're gonna like this.
忠告の言葉も聞かず。みすみす我
That's a lot to carry, man. For me, that's the
玉
real
の日に勝てるのかしら
burden here.
勝てる勝てないの問題ではないで
Yeah,
し
it's
ょ
not about the Emperor's. Well, not for me to say, but
私には翡翠の瞳も淡い髪もなくてよ。
it's interesting because speaking of first impressions, she was so clearly the first place and Lady Gokukyo was runner-up. But yeah, sometimes number one is jealous of number two. You know what's one compelling piece of evidence for voting for Gokukyo? Is that in that episode 1, she wasn't even competing. There's something about that that makes her seem really powerful. They're just drawing her so tired. Maybe we came up with a strategy.
かつて遊郭の姉ちゃんたちが教えてくれた秘術である
Uh-huh.
マオマオも覚えておいて損はないわよ。
What kind of dark magic is this?
おかえりなさい。
マオマオ大
And for her to be well received here after that,
そんなに
after being with her
よっぽど
competitor,
大変だったのね。
speaks to their
帝の直面を
qualities.
一人でやり遂げるとは
Why are you in the show? You need to leave. Waiting for you to be interesting and deep and not creepy. I'm sure it'll happen
帝
eventually.
のお通りが極端に減った時期があった。
Oh, is it war?
やっと睡眠不足から解放されるわ
Oh, because he's with Li Hua. What was the tip? I want to know.
呪いだ
Again with the curses. It's probably Rhododendron, honestly. We're now like 3 out of 4 for Rhododendron. Anyway, that's a problem for next time. We'll cross that Rhododendron bridge when we come to it. Now that we're 4 episodes in, I'm finding myself pretty hooked to the show. There are a lot of pleasant surprises for me. Initially, I didn't really think too much of the setting. Like, okay, it's just, that's the setting. But what really makes it come to life for me isn't the aesthetic, though that's nice, but the court dynamics, which I think is actually really interesting. And it's something you don't get to explore that much, or I haven't explored that much, especially not in anime. This like cool Machiavellian undertone thing that I'm sure will come up increasingly frequently. I think that's sort of the path that Maomao is on herself. She's navigating the court. I mean, already in episode 4, face to face with the Emperor and completing side quests from him. We're so far ahead of schedule, or like the timeline I had envisioned. It's pretty staggering. And while it feels like this will be episodic mystery to mystery, it is exciting to think that this is all still set up and that there's just so many ways this plot can go. There's so much potential for major intrigue and event and individual character exploration.